Good evening and thanks for joining us on Tracking the Tropics. Well, this could definitely be a first. Definitely a first for me. I've been tracking storms for quite a few years, nearly 15 years, and this scenario has never happened in the Gulf of Mexico, where we could have two hurricanes in the central Gulf at some point throughout the life cycle of both of these systems. And if that actually happens, it would be a historical year. That has never happened in the Gulf of Mexico. Yes, we've had two storms, but not both of them being hurricanes at the same time. So here's the very latest. Tropical Depression 14 with the latest advisory at 7 p.m. Winds still remained at 35, heading west-northwest now at 13 miles per hour. You can see now it says about 200 miles southeast of Cozumel, Mexico. We have seen a little bit more convection around the center of this system. Throughout much of the day, a lot of that thunderstorm activity has been kind of displaced, a little bit lopsided on the northern side and the eastern side of this system. But notice right here, you can see that thunderstorm activity kind of developing around the center. We're going to have to see if it starts to eventually wrap around that circulation through the overnight hours. Our satellite also showing you Tropical Storm Laura, which formed earlier today. Winds right now at 45 miles per hour, heading west at 17. It currently sits about 250 miles east-southeast of San Juan, Puerto Rico. But it's currently making its way across the northern Leeward Islands, as you see, eventually pushing its way into the Caribbean. We got to watch this one closely because there could be a lot of land interaction in the coming days. We're talking moving across Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, potentially Cuba, before even getting and stepping into the Gulf of Mexico. And as you notice the current tracks, as of the 4 o'clock advisory, that should all change a little bit moving into 10. But here's the story. As you notice, they all took a little shift to the west. They kind of marched a few miles, a little bit closer to Louisiana with Laura as a Category 1. Some models are indicating that we could even see more in the way of intensification and strengthening before landfall, with the possibility that could even shift a little bit further west. That means we fall underneath that northeastern quadrant. That puts us under the gun for the strongest winds, the heaviest rainfall, and the largest storm surge. Obviously, coastal flooding is definitely going to be an issue for us. As we are currently speaking right now, again, we know we're going to get some impacts from one of these storms. The actual impacts, well, that is to be said or to be determined as these systems get a little bit closer to the Gulf of Mexico. And you see with Tropical Depression 14, they're still indicating that we could be seeing a tropical storm later on tonight or early throughout your day on Saturday. Again, it could clip the Yucatan Peninsula, where it's a little bit mountainous. And then, as you see here, moving into the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, the wind shear starts to die down just a little bit. And with that being said, we get to a Category 1 storm on Monday before it eventually starts to take more of a western turn towards Texas. And you see by landfall, it could be a very strong tropical storm. Now a little bit closer to Corpus Christi versus the Houston area, but portions of Louisiana, I do want to point out, still fall underneath that cone. And you have to watch out these systems, because is it a symmetrical system? Is it typical of what you're used to seeing, where you get a well-defined circulation with a nice little eye? Well, that could be the case. However, there is the potential for this system being a little bit lopsided, asymmetrical, which means that we could be seeing a bunch of heavy rainfall moving in before this larger system pushes into Louisiana. And that's where the impacts could get a little bit alarming, because if one moves in, dumps a bunch of rainfall, we become a little bit waterlogged, then you get a stronger system to move in. Well, we could be seeing a lot of trees toppling in the area, and that means power outages. So, again, a lot to watch out. Make sure you gas up that generator just in case. So notice, again, you still see the uncertainty very high, because it all really depends on really what happens as these systems enter the Gulf of Mexico. Do they continue to shift further west? Do they continue to shift further east? We're going to continue to see these tracks flip-flop probably multiple times in the coming days before we finally get more of a well-defined answer, some consensus between all of these models. So again, we've got it going through at least Cuba, and then from that point on, the spread goes anywhere from the panhandle of Florida, some going back towards Tampa, but a lot are starting to shift towards the west, because we're expecting to see this system kind of sit underneath a ridge, which is going to drive it. Those steering winds drive it directly towards the west, and then eventually we're going to hope for a trough to kind of dig in, and that's going to scoop these systems out of here and then push them up towards the northeast. What we do know, again, is that we're going to get some rainfall, and probably a bunch of it at times. How much? That's to be, again, yet to be determined, because again, we need to kind of monitor where these systems, where those rain bands will actually set up. But I'm looking for, again, a couple inches in a lot of locations, and that could possibly cause some issues with our rivers and streams. Again, because again, it really depends on how quickly are these systems moving and really where these rain bands set up. So we're going to watch that closely in the coming days. Just know that most of the rainfall should probably start out late on Monday. Will be with us for Tuesday and Wednesday, and potentially kind of start to eventually move out of here by Thursday going into Friday. So as you see, the European model, I want to show you, got it. One system about to make its way into Cuba by Sunday. We're talking late Sunday. The other system entering the Gulf of Mexico. By the time we get to Wednesday, we're talking early morning. Notice how it becomes a little bit of a stronger system, a little bit south of us. That puts us again on the nasty side of the storm, where the winds are going to be stronger and the wind's going to be heavier. But notice what happens to possible Marco. It looks like it almost becomes absorbed, becomes a weaker system as it pushes its way into Texas. Now, as we continue to move forward and looking at the American model, this is the GFS, and you'll see that, again, kind of washing out a weaker system moving towards Texas. So what could potentially be Marco at some point, a tropical storm, maybe a weak hurricane, versus a stronger hurricane now with Laura. And Laura starts to drive itself a little bit further towards the west, putting it somewhere between Lake Charles and Lafayette. And with that being the case, going up the Atchafalaya Basin, that's where we could be seeing the biggest impact. So again, a lot could change out there. Now, the good news is at least that tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa, the chance of development has dropped now down into the low category at about 20%. You see that we're currently going into the peak of hurricane season, so there's the potential for a lot more to come. But obviously, we got to get through these two storms in the coming days. I also want to point out that we are going to be seeing a drier pattern over the weekend, which gives us plenty of time to get prepared. If you haven't done so already, get those low-lying limbs, the ones that look a little bit in the side, they could come down because of very strong winds. Cut those limbs, clear your gutters, clear those ditches, bring in the lawn furniture just in case. And if you haven't done so, get those necessary supplies ready to go. So we've crossed off Laura earlier today, and potentially over the weekend we're going to cross off Marco at this point. Main thing is have a game plan and be ready to put it into action early next week. A lot can change. Download our app. We're going to have the very latest information throughout the entire week, and with every advisory we're going to keep you up to date as to really what's going on. If you have questions or concerns, I know there are a lot of questions out there that need to be answered. A lot of people have a lot of different things. Could there be a potential superstorm? Well, that does not look like that's going to be the case. Will one kind of slingshot around the other one? Most likely not, because I do believe one system is going to be making landfall prior to the other one. Will the system become much larger than a Category 1 at landfall? There still is that potential threat that that could actually happen. So, yeah, we're going to watch the system very closely over the weekend and just stay weather aware and make sure you tune into our evening newscasts. Once again, thanks for joining us, and if you have any questions, just drop us a line.